5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Well, my first job as Commander-in-Chief, Bob.
Commander-in-Chief Bob. The third debate happened on foreign policy, nothing like a little Sunday morning television on a Monday night. The candidates were both tired, and it got off to a sloppy start, Romney thinking that he had to ask his own questions and then answer them.
Is Iran closer to a bomb? Yes. Is the Middle East in tumult? Yes. Is Al-Qaeda on the run? On its heels? No.
But then the moderator, Ryan Seacrest, got things under control with his classic tagline of the evening.
What is the deal?
Yeah, he looks a little rough, but don't judge. Ryan Seacrest is like 180 years old, and he has a television show and a radio show. Anyways, he started out, as is traditional, with a somber warning.
And it is a sobering reminder that every president faces at some point an unexpected threat to our national security from abroad.
You'll have to forgive him again. Back in his day, they called women broads. Anyways, the lesson is never forget Bill Clinton. So Ryan started with the first challenge.
The first segment is the challenge of a...
And you know what it was? A swallowing contest. And Obama was like,
Your strategy previously has been one that has been all over the map, is all over the map. You've been all over the map.
And of course, if you're talking about foreign policy, being all over the map is a good thing. Oh, he did diss Romney one time when he said,
I know you haven't been in a position to actually execute foreign policy.
But then Romney came back and went all Wikipedia on him.
Of course, we have Egypt, Libya 6 million population, Egypt 80 million population, and of course Iran.
But then Obama was like, I read Wikipedia too, check it out.
We have these things called aircraft carriers where planes land on them. We have these ships that go underwater.
And then they talked about Romney's website.
Take a look, come on our website.
I have to say that come on my website is my least favorite phrase. And then Obama was all like, it doesn't work.
We visited the website quite a bit. And it still doesn't work.
It got even worse when Obama accused Romney of licking one of his records.
I have never said I would lick
the record.
Of course not.
Let's check the record.
That's the height of silliness.
Things were getting a little out of hand, and then they talked about education for like 15 minutes.
Making sure that we've got the best education.
Focused on having great teachers.
You know your country's education system is kind of screwed if they bring it up during the foreign policy debate.
What is the deal? Let me get back to foreign policy.
Well, so then Romney laid out his foreign policy strategy.
Well, my strategy is pretty straightforward, which is to go after the bad guys, to make sure we do our very best to interrupt them.
Which is kind of brilliant if you think about it. Death to America! Is that a soy latte? Yes. You like soy? The point is, don't use your arms on hands on arms.
Terrorists there who could grab their hands. They don't have arms that get into the wrong hands.
We're not putting arms in the hands of...
We need to make sure they have the arms.
And when you're dealing with foreign policy, there's one thing you have to watch out for.
It was mission creep. This was mission creep.
I went on a mission with the mission creep once. He kept on saying we had to synchronize our... Then they started talking about the military, and I learned something I did not know.
And we want to shrink those groups and those networks, and we can do that.
We have a shrink ray?
Our Navy is smaller now than any time since 1917.
Yeah, you know why our Navy's so small? The shrink ray. And here's another thing.
Well, Governor, we also have fewer horses and bayonets.
Fewer horses and bayonets? First of all, that reminds me of my favorite song, Stabby Stabby Rider by Horses and Bayonets.
Horses and bayonets for that Stabby Stabby Rider.
And of course our military's in trouble. What's scarier, a gun with a sword on it or a horse with a gun with a sword on it? You know why they phased it out, right? Because the guys with the gun with the sword on it wanted a gun on the end of the sword, and then those guys wanted a sword on the end of that gun. Turtles all the way down, and that's how you get a budget deficit. So then there was a giant turning point in the debate because Obama tried to say the word that is hard for Obama to say.
Setting up these crippling sanctions.
And Romney just pounced on it and rubbed it in his face.
Crippling. And
that's when Romney went for the kill. He called out Obama's biggest broken campaign promise.
The president in his campaign some 4 years ago said he'd meet with all the world's worst actors in his first year. He'd sit down with Chavez and Kim Jong-il, with Castro.
Those people aren't even actors. You can't take non-actors and call them bad actors. What about Keanu, or the guy that played Anakin Skywalker? Anyways, China is just like everybody else.
China has an interest that's very much like ours. So they want the economy to work and the world to be free and open.
China wants the world to be free and open, except for China.
And so we can be a partner with China. We don't have to be an adversary in any way, shape, or form.
We don't have to be adversaries?
That's why on day one, I will label them a currency manipulator.
Is that like something buddies call each other? Or?
China can be our partner.
Right, our partner.
Counterfeiting our goods, hacking into our computers.
And then Obama ended the night with a perfect piece of foreign policy, saying the one thing that every other country wants to hear.
America remains the one indispensable nation. You indicated what you said.
Rising tide of tumult and confusion. Tumult, this rising tide of chaos.
I went on a mission with the mission creep once. He kept on saying we had to synchronize our